The best kept secret in 49ers history touchdown in Santa Clara on Friday. And the celebration for Trey Lance after the draft might have been more about the quarterback they didn't pick.
The San Francisco 49ers select Trey Lance, quarterback, North Dakota State.
Since the 49ers traded up to the third overall pick, Trey Lance was always the dark horse. Even Lance himself did not know.
You had a hunch for a while?
Oh, man, I didn't know, Coach. You wouldn't tell me nothing.
Hey, we didn't tell anybody, man.
I know.
So for me, it was emotional and just super blessed. I felt super thankful for everyone that's helped me get to this point.
For a month, media and fans bandied about three names. Justin Fields went 11th to the Bears, and Mac Jones was selected 15th by New England. Kyle Shanahan said Lance was the guy all along.
I think he's very impressive in terms of his intellect, how he deals with people, how he just handles the social situation. And I thought I looked at him as a CEO of a company.
To say Shanahan and Lynch took a risk is an understatement. Lance played just one full season at North Dakota State, but threw 28 touchdowns with no picks and won the FCS National Championship.
You'd always rather have had a 2020 year, but like I said earlier, maybe that's a blessing. Maybe he got a 2020 year. He wouldn't have been available at 3. So we'll find out.
While fans and media debate whether or not Lance was the right pick, the feeling 1,700 miles away in Fargo was very clear.
Trey Lance!
Yeah, it's been a nice run in the draft for North Dakota State, which had a player taken in both the first and second round. Lance is the third quarterback selected since 2016, when Carson Wentz went second overall to the Eagles. Joining us now is Mike McFeely, a columnist for Forum Communications in North Dakota. He went to Cleveland for the NFL draft, and he covered Trey Lance at North Dakota State. Mike, first off, Carson Wentz, 2016, Easton Stick, 5th round pick by the Chargers in 2019, and now Trey Lance, 3rd overall. What is it about North Dakota State and quarterbacks?
Well, it's not even so much specifically about quarterbacks, Dennis. What North Dakota State is able to do in FCS is get under-recruited kids and then develop them. Carson Wentz was a kid out of Bismarck, North Dakota, who didn't get, I think he got one FBS offer from a MAC school, Central Michigan. Trey Lance got a couple FBS offers late to play quarterback, but most of his offers were from bigger schools that wanted to switch him to play defense. The University of Minnesota, Trey Lance's home state school, wanted to switch him to safety. And so NDSU said, no, Trey, we'll play a quarterback. And they saw the potential there, and they turned him into a first-round draft choice, 3rd overall to the Niners. And they've really been able to do that with a lot of the guys they've sent to the NFL, is just develop under-recruited guys.
Mike, what convinces you that Trey Lance was worthy of being the 3rd pick in the draft?
Super athletic, cannon of an arm, can move, obviously very mobile, which is what NFL teams are looking for now. I'm not saying he's Patrick Mahomes, but that's kind of the blueprint now of what NFL teams want. And Trey Lance is able to do some of those same things. The other thing is that he is incredibly bright, just an incredibly intelligent young guy, picked up everything NDSU's coaches put on his plate as a redshirt freshman, and they put a lot on his plate, and he's able to handle it. Now, I'm not comparing FCS now to the NFL, but there's a track record there of Trey Lance being able to understand complex things, grasp them, and just take control of the offense. NDSU was confident enough in a redshirt freshman to give him the reins to call plays to the line of scrimmage right from the first couple of games, and he obviously translated that into a 16-0 season with the Bison.
Maybe you answered my next question. 17 college starts under his belt. That seems to me like a steep learning curve in his transition to the NFL. Do you see it that way?
Well, there's no doubt about it. You can't look the other way on that, right? He's had 17 college starts, and all of them at the FCS level. Now, NDSU didn't play against any FBS competition when Trey Lance was in Fargo, but I'll go back to what I just said, is that he has the physical tools and the mental makeup that I'm sure that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch looked at him and said, he's not going to be ready right away, right? Jimmy Garoppolo is there for now, And I think they're looking at Trey Lance maybe next year and the future as being their guy, and they're willing to develop him and work with him. And that learning curve is going to be steep, but they're confident he can handle it.
Mike, Russell Wilson is at his best, some say, when the pocket breaks down, when he's forced to improvise. Russell Wilson and take off or throw on the run. Does Trey Lance have some Russell Wilson magic?
He certainly has the physical running style of a quarterback in today's modern NFL. Trey Lance is about 6'4", 225 pounds, not afraid of contact, not afraid of lowering his shoulder. Now, I don't know if the NFL teams like the Niners want him to do that. I'm sure they'd rather see him slide or run out of bounds. But he is so mobile and so fast and so physical that if things are breaking down around him, he can move with his feet, make plays with his feet. And oh, by the way, if he has to, if he sees something, he can throw on the run as well. Very accurate, rolling out to his right, rolling out to his left, being able to find receivers. Is that a comparison to Russell Wilson? I guess it is. But Trey Lance has those traits to be able to do that.
You interviewed his parents, Trey Lance's parents, and his mother said Trey is surrounded by good people. It seems to me that's an important aspect for a 20-year-old who's going to have instant fame, fortune, and a lot of pressure. What was your takeaway after interviewing Trey's parents?
Well, I've known his parents a little bit over the past year, of course, because Trey did play at North Dakota State. But Carlton and Angie Lance are the most grounded people, come from a very grounded, level-headed family. They're from Marshall, Minnesota, which is a small town of about 14,000 people in western Minnesota, about 2 hours from Fargo. And these are not people who need the bright lights. They're not in this for the attention. They're not in this, I don't even think, for the money necessarily, although that's going to be nice. But he comes from just solid western Minnesota stock, if you will. And that, I think that's going to keep Trey Lance very grounded. He's a humble guy. I mean, Trey Lance is a guy that knew he was going to go in the first round for quite a while here, but he's just a very humble young man.
Mike, we appreciate the inside perspective. Nice job covering Trey Lance. I appreciate the time.
Thanks for having me on, Dennis. I appreciate it.